And how many entries do you get each year to boil it down to however many films you actually present?
Sure. So the team will screen through over 3,500, almost 4,000 submissions to get to the 320 that are probably in the festival. About 120 features and about 300 short films screened at the festival. So
Mm,
we are now the largest entertainment event of our kind in coastal Southern California, larger
right.
than anything in San Diego, Orange County, or even LA. As far as the 48,000 people that have attended in past years, the 300 plus films and 22 special events that we host. That's a behemoth of a festival that takes place here in Newport.
And how do you ultimately choose your selections? Do you go in assuming we need 10 dramas and three comedies, or do you just look for the things that move you the most?
So I think we have a multi-phase process. As far as our official submissions, those are watched by first our review committee, and that's about 150 people made up of members of our community to get a sounding board to make sure that we're just not looking at it from a technical perspective.
Yeah.
And that allows us to kind of get, hey, is there an audience for this film? And would that audience be receptive? And one of the questions I asked, would you spend $20 to see this movie? Which is usually the great equalizer, like, oh, I love this, I love this, I love this, but no, I wouldn't spend $20
Right.
for this movie.
Right.
Then it moves into our programming team, and at least 2 to 3 programmers will watch a film in its entirety. So you're looking at it, but every submission of those 3,500 submissions is watched at least 3 to 5 times
Wow.
before a decision is made whether it's in or out. And I'm very proud of that process. And that, again, I'm not calling out Sundance, but Sundance gets 14,000 submissions. So it's a little bit different, but they
Yeah.
watch 20 minutes of a feature. If they don't like it, they turn it off and it's never looked at again.
Wow.
So we really feel that we have a good, multifaceted, multi-level approach to how we select our films. And I've been in almost every programming meeting where the decisions have been made, and it's a heartfelt discussion, both in the films that we've selected and the films we've declined. And it's
Yeah.
not flippant, it's not lightly taken. We appreciate every submission, and we try to give as much care to that process as possible. And I say that I'm exceedingly proud of our programming team and the review committee for their time and talent to really give the filmmakers what they are owed.
So it sounds like this is an all-year activity, the reviewing and
Oh, yeah.
selecting, just to get the films, setting aside for a second all the special events that you run during the festival.
Most certainly. So we're already starting to build out some ideas for next year. So to our 2025 festival. And then submissions will open January 1st and they run through July. So we're watching films, we're taking meetings, again, it's a whole process that is a year round now, especially for the size of the festival
Yeah.
operation. And it's something that again, we've found that we cannot be seasonal. And that it's just too difficult to start back up 4 or 5 months into the year and try and get the same level of quality that we've had for the last 25 years.
Yeah. Was there ever any one feature film or short that completely blew you away? It's just you were almost knocked off your seat watching it.
Um, I think so. Years ago, there was a short. It was about a minute and a half. It was called The Kiss. I thought it was really just a wonderful film, a very well crafted film.
Mhm.
And then on the feature side, every year, and again, to his shorts too. Every year, I'm thinking, oh, this is a really great lineup. I don't know how we're going to top it next year, and
Right.
every year we do. So I'm always very pleased and impressed by the creativity of our filmmakers. Um, but I think, I look at, again, like last year with American Fiction, just such a great film. And Jeffrey Wright, who's one of our big honorees in the past and a strong patron of the Newport Beach Film Festival, was such a powerful performance. There's not one film that jumps to mind, but I think what's been great is the reception we've had from our audience of, well, I saw this little doc from Lithuania that was just amazing. and I didn't have a chance to see it, but the audience members did, and they just loved it. Or hey, we just saw this amazing action sports film on surfing, and Kelly Slater was there, or Rob
Right.
Machado was there. The thing, like, again, for your listeners and viewers, who aren't into the surf scene, you might not know who those people are, but if you are, you actually know who those people are and care a
Yeah.
great deal that they've come out to Newport to share their time. And that's the other neat thing about the Newport Beach Film Festival is I'd say more like 90% of our films will have someone associated with them, either in front of or behind the camera, participating in the festival, and definitely in a Q&A after the event or after the screening.
Now, as you may know, a lot of our audience members are going through some kind of breakup.
Yeah.
They're coming to this podcast because of the intersection between law and clinical psychology. What impact do you think films could have on someone going through any sort of dramatic time in their lives?
Well, I think having gone through a couple of breakups in my life, I can tell you that film has been a very cathartic medium for me. I definitely have my go-to films. I mean, whether it's A Wonderful Life or though it may seem odd, the Godfather 1 and 2. I mean, films that really inspire. Things for me also, like The Sound of Music is one that I often go to when I need to kind of ground myself. Obviously, there are films that can be trigger films, which we always try to make sure that we whenever we describe our films in our online or in our pullout section with the LA Times, we always try to make sure that we are as accurate and descriptive as possible, both for anything that could cause people to be upset or to elevate one's opportunities and the engagement with that film. Film is a very special medium in that, sad but true, we no longer ask the question, what's your favorite book? We ask, what's your favorite film?
Right.
And I
Right.
think for a lot of your audience, I think it's kind of looking through, and again, we've got over 100 feature films, and being able to kind of find one or two that resonates with you and go. I have people who have made friendships that reconnect from around the United States, sometimes even around the world, but definitely around the United States, that reconnect at the Newport Beach Film Festival just so they can kind of share going to the movies together and listening to the
Yeah.
Q&As and going to some of the parties. It's a very accessible group. It is not pretentious. That's the other thing about our audience is they're a cool group of people. I can't speak for all 48,000 of them, but the ones I interact with are very nice people and very excited to be there, and want to share that with their fellow audience members. Our second film ever for opening night was a special screening of The Sting. Robert Redford, Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and now I'm showing my age, but we had the entire cast, the largest assembly of the cast since the filming of the film.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I chose that is I remember it was one of the first quote unquote like kind of not an adult but mature films I saw when I was younger with my parents, and my dad loved the movie, and so I said, it's such a great film, and that way to kind of connect to one's past and to possibly happier times and things that you really love.
That's great. It makes me think. You talked about the first adult film you watched. I think mine was The Godfather. My dad, whenever it comes on, my dad will watch it. My father refers to The Godfather when I go to him with questions about my business. You're treating it personal. This is just business, whatever he's quoting. But I also remember my father laughing hysterically at the Pink Panther movies, watching the Pink Panther movies with my father. I never saw him laugh like that anywhere else. And that was very meaningful to me.
No, and I think all of us have to really embrace those things. I think